Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. In today's video, I wanted to do a real talk, which I haven't filmed a real talk, I feel like, in a while, and also I haven't filmed in a while. You guys have had a bunch of pre-recorded videos, and so I kind of wanted to do this video just like chatting about something that just had kind of like come up recently, and I thought that it would be a really cool topic to kind of like talk about basically like attitudes, I would say, in Magic, and then just like sports person like conduct. I don't really want to say sportsman like conduct, but like sports person like conduct. And I guess I kind of wanted to start by kind of like taking us way back when I used to play soccer many years ago. And one thing that had happened when I was playing soccer, I had played soccer up until I was like 14, I think, and I don't know if this is a thing that other places do, so let me know if like you've seen this before. I feel like it has been, but like where you have each team at the end of the game, like you're walking down and like you are seeing the opposing team, the enemy team or whatever, and you like give like a high five or whatever. And I remember like doing that, and I remember like as I got older how like if I lost a game, how I was in that attitude and that mindset of being like, I don't wanna like even shake their hand, like not shake their hand, even like give them a high five or like a fist bump or anything, because it just like I was so like upset that we lost or whatever, and it didn't even feel like saying good game like didn't even really feel worth it to me. And I remember like that as I got older, I like was less interested in that, because this was behavior that I noticed other teammates would do, and I kind of like, you know, modeled after them and like took on after them, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like this is a good game, I don't feel like it's something that I need to do. And looking at it now, I kind of, to be honest, really wish that I really wish that like someone had a conversation with me to tell me why it was really important to say good game even if we did lost. And that kind of like brings us, I guess, to like where we are now. And I think back when I was playing Magic competitively, and one of the reasons that I don't play Magic competitively anymore, like a really huge component, is that it was just really bad for my mental health, because I would be getting in my head about things, like telling myself that like I suck all the time. At my school, if you're a teacher, you might know this, but there is this thing called the 4 horsemen mentalities, and one of them is you're right, I suck, and that is like basically who I am, I would say, like as a teacher, and like how I view myself, which is really terrible. It's a goal of mine. I'm trying to work on getting better at that, but I have a lot of these times where I just like get in my head, and you know, I did a video like talking like about mental health like a while back, and just like my relationship with mental health and Magic, and I basically have that mentality about like playing Magic competitively. So like if I lost a game, it would be like, oh, you just suck, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people who feel the same way, which is really terrible. And so if I would lose a game of Magic, it was just like that was like my attitude towards the game. And I remember specifically this one time where I was at my college, and there was this like tournament. It wasn't like a very serious tournament, like it really wasn't a serious tournament. Like I feel like I need to be like really clear here in saying that this was a very casual thing. And I was playing black-white tokens, and this was before I played Magic competitively. So, and this was like at the time where people were like, your tokens deck is like really good, like you could go on and like play this deck, you know, like competitively. And I took this to a tournament, and actually my round 1 pairing was against Paul, and I don't even remember what Paul was playing, and Paul just like totally stomped me. I think I had gotten like, I don't even really remember what the situation was, but I just like wasn't drawing well or something, and I lost. And I remember just being like really upset about it. And so like the rest of the tournament, so I was like, it was one of those things where I don't remember what kind of tournament it's called, but like I was knocked out, like I wasn't able to play in like seeded, is that what it is, seeded tournaments, where I was like knocked out, I didn't play any of the rounds, and then Paul played I think 1 or 2 more rounds and then got knocked out. And so afterwards, I was kind of like done with that, and I kind of wanted to like leave, and so we like got food after, and I remember like him talking about it and whatnot, and I remember just being like, Paul, like I just don't want to talk about this, like I'm really upset that you beat me, like I don't want to talk about it. And he was like, I'm really sorry, like I didn't realize that you were like that upset about it. And I remember this other time too that we were playing at, I want to say, his apartment. This was like a while back. And I remember saying like, I got really salty at like one of his decks. And I remember saying, I just like don't like that deck. And he's like, okay, I won't play it anymore, and like got like really like, I'm sorry, like I didn't realize that deck. And I it's so funny because now that I'm looking at the situation now, I realized that I understood where my feelings were coming from. I was really upset. My emotions were heightened because I lost. And I realized that I like totally took it out on Paul because he's a person I obviously feel like really comfortable with. Like, we've been friends for a really long time and we're getting married, and so it was just, you know, it was a person that I was very like, I didn't mind expressing my frustration towards him because we're very comfortable with each other. And I realized I get where I was coming from and get why I was upset, but as I'm looking at the situation now, and I don't really know what had inspired this like video to really like for me to talk about this, but I realize now it's just a game of Magic. Like, in order it just to be like the simplest of the simplest, like if you get upset that you lose, it's just a game of Magic, and I feel like that might be like trivializing your emotions, and that's not really what I'm trying to do. But I guess really like why I don't really know. I mean, I know why I got upset, but it's also like it doesn't matter. Like, it's okay. Like, it is okay that I lost. And my attitude towards it was just like really negative. And as I was like thinking about this video and like what I wanted to say, there was this quote that I had thought about, and I couldn't remember where it was from, but I finally remembered. It's from this movie called Right on Track. And this is an old school Disney Channel movie, and I used to love this movie when I was a kid, and I rewatched actually recently when we got Disney Plus, and I love this movie. And there's this quote that the dad says to one of the girls, one of his daughters, and she like wins. And she's acting like really like bratty and just like, you know, and she's like a really like, she's like, oh, I won, whatever. And the dad is like, you know, I definitely knew that I had to teach you like how to lose gracefully. He's like, but I never thought I'd teach you how to win. In the sense of like the attitude that she has. I'm paraphrasing extremely poorly here, but basically I want to kind of like break down that quote. And what I really like about it is I feel like it's that skill of learning when you don't get something, when something doesn't play out the way that you want. Like, that's something that I think is really important to have. I think when you lose, it's really important to know how to lose, in a sense of like how to emotionally deal with that loss. But on the same flip side, I think it's really important to know how to win, in the sense of what to do and what attitude to have. And I don't want to like pride myself on this at all, but something I think that I'm pretty decent at is like when I win in a game, I try not to be like, oh, I won and you lost and whatever. Like, one thing I say I will do is I definitely like to talk about how I won if I do something really cool. Like, if I see my friends and they're just like, how'd your game of Commander go? And I was like, I just did like the coolest thing and I want to tell you about it. And it was like, and I had like 12 cards in my hand or whatever. That's an aspect that I will talk about, but I never feel like I am someone who just like brags when I win. And if I do, I hope someone would tell me, because I'll definitely work on that. But I think it's important to lose and win gracefully. I think it can be really challenging when you're really upset and you just want to like take that out on someone. But I also think it's really important when you win to not boast or brag. And when you lose, I think it's easy to get in a really negative mindset. An experience that I remember in my childhood growing up is, I remember it was like Thanksgiving one year, and we were playing, I don't even remember what, we were playing video games or something. And I remember my cousin getting really upset when she lost. And then I remember when she was winning, she was like having a lot of fun. And I don't know why that memory like really sticks out as like something in my childhood that I just like really remember. But I remember like thinking, I don't think it's fair to only have fun when you're winning and then not to have fun when you're losing. And I can see both sides of the coin. Like, I get it. It's extremely fun to win and it's great. However, I have had Commander games where I've lost and I have had ton of fun, and that's one thing I think that is the appeal. Like, when I really say Commander is the best format, is because if you have a good group of people that you play with and you lose, it doesn't even matter. Like, again, I could probably like talk about games where I've lost, but I've done some really epic stuff that I'd be like, I'd love to share that. You know what I mean? So I think really what this comes down to is, I think if you're in this really negative space where you feel like you are incredibly acting in a very toxic way when you lose or when you win, I think it's really important to talk about both, because I think we've all been there with bad beat stories when we've lost, but I really want to talk about the flip side, because there are some people who have really negative attitudes towards winning, and I don't think we should ignore that. I think the way that I have been handling this, and I haven't played Magic in a bit now, but I think as I'm kind of haven't been playing Magic, I've been able to kind of like sit back and think about these things more objectively and realize I used to get really incredibly salty when I lost. And I think as I'm kind of looking at it now, I'm kind of like, I think my attitude towards things, and not even just with Magic, but just in general, of when my emotions do get heightened, something that this is a goal that I'm really trying to work on, is when I do get upset, I think I need to just take a step away from the situation. Try not to let my emotions show, which is really hard for me. A word that really helps me is the word pause. Whenever at work we use the phrase "in the red," which is basically like whenever you're upset, frustrated, angry, anything like that. Again, we use the language "in the red." Whenever I get like that, I really try to keep that word pause in my head, because a lot of times what happens is when I, and I'm sure other people too, get in the red, they react in a really negative way, where you might yell, or you might say something that you don't really mean because you're just so upset. And my word is pause, and because I kind of want to just take a step back and take a minute to just breathe. And that's like another thing that I really want to work on, is when I'm feeling overwhelmed or anything like that, or when I'm getting in the red, I kind of just want to like work on my breathing and work on like just having a bit of like mindfulness, and just to kind of like think about that and be like, take myself out of that situation and just be like, everything is going to be okay. Right now in our world, there's so many things that we cannot control. And I think one area that I'm trying to work on is things that I can control, and the way I react is something that I can control. And I'm just trying to work on reacting in a way that's just more gracefully. I'm trying to lose more gracefully and not let my frustrations out there. And this is like a really, really hard thing to do, but I think I am trying to use my word pause, and also just to focus on my breathing for, again, many areas of my life. This is something that I'm trying to work on. So I would say if you're ever get in the red or whatever, and like some techniques that like I've, talked about with my kids, but I still think that they're applicable to adults, is, if you find yourself getting in those sorts of situations, whether it's related to Magic or not, some strategies that I've definitely seen is take possibly a timer. It can be something like that on your phone, to maybe like time yourself to like get out of that situation. You would really be amazed by what taking a minute to 2 minutes of a break can really do for yourself whenever you are in the red. Getting a fidget. My personal favorite fidget that I will say is Play-Doh, and the reason that I'm actually recommending Play-Doh, it's very affordable, but another reason I love Play-Doh is because it doesn't make noise, and it's not very messy. You can get sometimes like something on your hands, but something like that, because it doesn't make any noise. And sometimes I find with fidgets is that they make noise and they can be really disruptive, where that can be something that you can grab, or like a stress ball, or like a ball that you can squeeze, just because that can be something that you can do where that can like really help, by taking like a minute to 2 minute breaks. I have Play-Doh for my classroom for when we do return back to the school. Another really good tip, again, I'm using a lot of my teacher tips, but I feel like these are great in other situations, are noise canceling headphones. I think sometimes if there's like a lot of stuff that's going on, and like if you're, let's just say you work in an office and you're able to like do something, noise canceling headphones, game changer. Absolutely love noise canceling headphones. That's definitely something that I need to pick up a couple more pairs for my classroom. If the world is just too much and there's too much stuff going on, noise canceling headphones just really, really help. I would say like manage emotions and really just help. There's like a lot of noise or whatever that can like really heighten someone's emotions, and noise canceling headphones can really help to calm that down. Definitely like listening to meditation. I think like calm.com is a really great resource that, again, we've used with our kids, and that's a really great thing. Again, if you don't have a lot of time, a minute to 2 minutes of mindfulness can just really be a game changer, and that can really help set you apart. One thing also that I have actually been really bad about doing, but something that I have started and or is going to try to focus on is to keep a journal and to write down one positive thing that happens every day. A lot of times we generalize and take one day and say, you know what, this whole day sucks. And like realistically, like there are days where there just really are, you just have a bad day and it totally happens. One thing that I've been really trying to focus on is, even if there is a day that is not the best, I've just been trying to think there's definitely at least one positive thing that happens in every single day, and it can be really hard to see it, but that's been something that I really like, and that's like a really good tip. Yeah, so I hope this video was kind of just like helpful. I was just kind of, these were a lot of like thoughts that were just kind of like going on in my head, but these are definitely like some goals of mine, and I'd really love to know what you guys think about this topic, and what are some tips maybe that you've used to be just more like mindful and more present in the moment. I'm really kind of trying to think of ways and strategies that we can use when we do get in the red. But yeah, I really hope that you guys liked this video. I know it was a little, I don't want to say like fully off topic, but just like a little bit of a different topic. I've never really talked about this stuff before. So if you guys did like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you did give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.